We're going to be working today on Computer Science Discoveries, Unit 3, Lesson 7, Sprites. So we're going to be learning about sprites today. You'll see here in the vocabulary that a sprite is a character on the screen with properties that describe its location, movement, and look. So instead of putting a bunch of smaller pieces together to create a character or a picture, you're going to actually be using a sprite, which is all of those pieces already created. And then, so you could have in lesson 6, we were looking at different, lessons 5 and 6, we were looking at petals of a flower. They were made up of a circle for the center and 4 circles to make the petal. But now instead of that, now we're just going to maybe look at a picture of a flower and then have that flower move around. So that's what we're going to be working on now. If you take a look at task 2, they're letting you know that you're using some blocks that you haven't seen before. So let's take a look at this code. This code, I see the variable is it's fruit. Oops, sorry. I'm going to do that. They're creating the sprite at 100, 200. So if I look in here, if I open up the sprites tab, I can see that the sprite, first I have the XY, then I have the width and the height. Right now you don't see the width and the height indicated. It's just the X and Y position. If you needed to change the width and the height, you could certainly do that by pressing this arrow, and the arrow is going to give you the ability to change its width and height. You don't need that right now though. So we have a fruit. It's going to be at 100, 200. So if I look at my grid and I see where 100, 200 is, it's right about there. And it looks like the animation of that sprite, the picture for that sprite is going to be a pig. So I have the fruit, and the fruit is, it's called a fruit, but it's going to be a pig. Then I have a vegetable, and this is going to be at 300, 200. So 300, 200 is like right about here. And that's going to be called a carrot. It's a vegetable, it's going to be a carrot. So if I look at my animation, oh, I see what I did. I changed my fruit from an apple to a pig. That's why it was a pig. So if I'm in my animation tab, I can see that these are the different animations. I'm going to change that back to an apple because that is what's going to make sense for a fruit. And again, the animation tab is right here, and that's where you're going to be able to find the different animations. So when I press run, I see that the apple is at 100, 200, and that's the center of the apple. And the carrot is at 300, 200, and that is the center of the carrot. Please pause my video and watch this video. It's a good introduction to sprites. All right, so now we're going to work on creating sprites. So what they're asking you to do is, it says the program includes comments to let you know where to place the code that otherwise is blank. Your program should look like the image on the right. So if I press run, I see that this is just a square, a gray square. So there's a sprite that's been drawn. You see that this draw sprites there. You need that to be able to actually have the drawing be drawn. So there's supposed to be a dog, and it's supposed to be at 200, 200. It's not a dog though. So what I need to do now is take a look And you know what, actually, I need to start this version over because I think it started off differently. I'm sorry. All right, so creating sprites here. So I'm going to create this sprite. So I have the variable sprite, create sprite. So right now, and if I have to go here so I can actually draw it. So right now, all I see is this gray square. That's all I'm able to do. So we've added this create the sprite, and we've also put draw sprites. All right. So at this point, you're going to see that I have two squares here that I'm looking for. And right now, it looks like I'm only showing one. If you take a look at line 2 of my code, that's where the draw sprites is. So the only sprite that I can see is this left sprite. I can't see the right sprite. I have to move that draw sprites below so that it draws both. All we had to do is rearrange the code. All right, and in task 6, again, I have to start this over. All right, in task 6, when I press run, you're going to see that I have a top left sprite that's at 100, 100, that's this square. Top right sprite at 300, 100, that's this square. Bottom left sprite is right here. And then the bottom right sprite, the animation has been set to alien. So this bottom right sprite has been set to an alien. If I look at my animation, I see that I have all of these options. Alien was one of them. Bunny, Flybot, Plane Rad 1. All right, let's see what they're asking us to do. Run the code and to see what happens. So we just did that, and we saw that there were gray boxes and there was an alien. Look in the animation tab to see what animations are available to you. And if you weren't sure where that was, you could press this where it says show me where. It says feel free to alter your animations or choose a new one. So if I'm in the animations tab and I'm not happy with these, I might go into new animations and maybe I want a cupcake or something. Who knows what I might want? There's a lot of things in here. Ooh, I like that guy's hair. All right, let's do that. I'm gonna call him Cutie. All right. So use the set animation to change the look of your other sprites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put set animation under, and this is called top left sprite. So top left sprite, and you'll notice that I have to make the verbiage here identical to what's up here. I have to make sure that the capital letters are the same and everything. So I'm going to make that a bunny. The top right sprite, I'm going to make that the plane. That makes sense, right? The bottom left sprite, I'm going to make that a kid. All right. So you'll see that I have the kid here, the alien here, the plane here, and the bunny here. You'll also notice that this kid seems a little bit bigger, and the alien seems a bit smaller, the plane seems a bit smaller, the bunny seems a little bit medium-sized. Right now, you don't have the ability in your toolbox that you soon will have the ability to scale the size of this kid down, or to make the plane a little bit bigger. So you will have those abilities shortly. But right now, we've made a scene with just a couple of pictures, and I hope that you found pictures that you enjoyed. I also want to show you in these pictures, you have a lot of ability to, like, I can use this paint tool, and I'm gonna make this, let's use this color. So I can make that circle that color. I could make that section that color. I could really customize how I want this alien to look. And there's a lot of other stuff that you could do in here. If you wanted the alien to be flip-flopped, you can do that. If you look over here, you can flip it vertically. So you can have it flip the other way, turned the other way. You can make it more centered. It's not doing much here. That's to rotate it. So if you wanted it rotated for some reason, that's to make it into the center, and that's to crop the sprite. So if you wanted to make it, if you only wanted, let's say, the top of the alien, that would help you to crop out the bottom part of it, or whatever you might want it. So there's a lot of options here, so feel free to take a look. Let's see what our new alien looks like. So I've cropped out some of the top. I didn't mean to do that. But if I didn't like what I did, I could delete it and re-import it. And the alien that I want, I think it was that guy. And make sure that I choose it. And there we go. It was a different alien. I apologize. All right. Here is another video for you to watch. This is going to make your sprites come to life. So please take a minute to watch this video and then come back. All right. So now we're being asked to debug. So this program draws 3 sprites on the screen, but it's not working yet. The wrong sprite is in front, and one sprite's animation isn't showing up. So I need to go to my version history. Sorry. So now if I press run, I can see that the ice cream looks like it's on the wrong side. I can see this get ready is in the background, and I can see that there is no animation that's set that's going to be the soda, or it's not correct. So let's see what we have to do. The message is text that says get ready. And that's, okay, so that's written first. So because that's in lines 1 and 2, that's going to be one of the first things that gets laid down. We don't want that to happen because we want that message to be above everything. So I'm going to take that and put it at the bottom. Now we've got get ready out front. Okay. Now I have the dessert is at 300, 200. And then there's a drink that's set to soda and a drink that's set to ice cream. Oh no. Okay. So it looks like the drink at 100, 200. So 100, 200. This should be the soda. So that should be set to soda. Okay, so that's correct. Then the dessert, that should be called dessert. And the animation should be set to ice cream. Aha, much better. Take that grid off so that we can see the pretty picture. And there we go. All right. So now in number 9, in task 9, you're being asked to identify what code is going to be matched with what picture. And this blue screen that has nothing is going to be matched with the code where draw sprites is directly underneath the sky blue background, because none of the sprites are being asked to be drawn at this point. If we go down to the next one, this sky blue background, and there's a variable dog, and draw sprites is right underneath that. It's before the animation was actually set to be a dog, and it's before the elk even came in. So anything written before draw sprites is what's going to be shown. For this next picture, where you have both the corgi and the elk, where you have them both drawn properly with the sky blue background, is going to be this one where draw sprites is at the very bottom. And this next one, draw sprites, is written underneath the dog being set to a corgi, but before the elk is even shown. Therefore, this is the code that goes with this picture. All right. That was very painful on my ears. All right, creating sprites and animations. This is practice, so take a few minutes to practice at least one of these, if not more. Number 11, this is going to be another graded assessment. So at this point, and I'm going to start this over. At this point, they're asking us to use what we've learned to create our own sprites. And this example is just one way to complete this level. Decide for yourself what you want your sprites to look like. So we're going to go to the animation tab and add at least 2 animations to your project. In the code tab, create at least 2 different sprites in 2 different places on the screen. Assign each sprite a different animation and draw your sprites to the screen. So I'm going to choose to make a crab. And I'm going to see if I can find a shark. No sharks. What's a scary, scary fish? You know what? Maybe I'll do... Nope, no surfer. I'll just do a regular fish. So we'll just do with silverfish. So I have crab and silverfish. Excuse me. All right. Sorry, I had to sneeze. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my sprites. Set animation. Create sprite. Set animation. I like to bring all of my code blocks in first. It helps me. Now I'm going to draw sprites. Okay, so I first want the crab, and I'm going to have the crab be drawn at the bottom of the screen. So maybe about 100, 350. And we're going to call it crab. I know it's very, very unique name here. And let's see where this crab, oops, they're not going to let me. All right, and then we're going to call this fish. And we're going to set the animation to be the fish. All right, So I've got my crab down here and I've got the fish up here. My crab is down a little bit too far, and it's to the left a little bit too far. So I'm going to change this to be 150, 300. And let's see where my crab ends up. This crab is really big. Now what we're trying to do is we have to get this fish away. So I'm going to make my fish be, let's say, right about here. So about maybe 350, 100, let's say. 75. See what happens. Ah, there he is. All right, and actually I'm going to change it to 300 so he's still like in my scene. So I have my two animations. So that's what I needed to do. I needed to create at least two sprites in two different places on the screen. I was able to do that and assign each sprite a different animation. So if you take a look at this crab has a fork and a knife. So if I would go in and get a fork and a knife, and I added those, I personally like to tab through. When I use the tab, it helps me to get around my screen faster. So now I want the fork and the knife to be in the crab's hands. So the fork and the knife right now are all the way over here. What if I moved my fork, let's say I moved my fork on the X to 50, and on the Y, I moved it to maybe 225. Let's see what happens. Ah, the fork is right about there. I need it to go over to the right a little bit more, so I'm going to change the X from 50 to 40. Maybe from 40 to 30. Let's see what happens. Ah, perfect. All right, and then my Y was at 225, so I'm going to keep my Y at 225 for the knife. And on this knife, I'm going to say, and let's see where 250 lands us. A little bit over more, so maybe 270. Let's see what that does. Ah, looks good. Now I've got like a fun little scene going on. You can see that the crab has a fork and knife ready to eat the fish. Oh no! All right, so now we have some challenges for you to handle. So take a few minutes to handle these challenges, and I hope you enjoyed this level.